Hi guys, happy Sunday with Satan. Finally. Alright, so today we're just gonna go right into it. The Line of Caine. How perfect for Sunday with Satan. I feel really short. I keep thinking I'm shrinking. Oh. There. Now I am not short. Alright, so the Line of Caine are Cain, Tubal Cain, and Azazel, the same entity? Yes and no. So, Cain, son of Eve. So, this is just, snippets. So, alright, we have Cain, or Quain, is the son of Eve through the serpent, Ha-Satan. So, in Genesis, when Eve says, I have begotten a man with the Lord, she is referring to Lord Satan, Lucifer. I do not like the word Satan. I think it is ridiculous, and it needs to not even be in this. So, Lucifer is what we should be calling him. So his brother Abel was the son of Adam and Eve, a creature of clay made flesh. So whereas Cain was a creature of spirit made flesh. Pretty interesting. Very interesting. So, alright, now Cain was the first to till the earth and harvest plant matter. So for this reason he is known as the Lord of the Green Kingdom. So while Cain harvested plants, Abel shepherded flocks of beasts. When the time came for Cain and Abel to make offerings to Yahweh, Abel's offering of blood pleased Yahweh, but Cain's offering of burnt plants did not. That is just showing how evil Yahweh, Jehovah, is. Sacrifice of blood? Really? Not for me. So, alright, now it was for this slight in the eyes of Yahweh that Cain killed Abel. So Cain offered forth his most cherished gift of blood, his own brother. That's sick. To Yahweh. So Abel's blood watered the fields and made it fertile. So the necrosophic tradition claims that the blood of Abel that watered the garden also empowered it, making the plants within linked to the bloodline of Cain. So this is also the origin of plant spirits, or the black and green. So who has the bloodline of Cain? That would be interesting. So because of the fact that Cain was the first murderer of man, he eventually became the Reaper. The correlations here. Let's draw the lines, connect the dots. All over the map here. So, alright, he is the Lord of the Western Realms and the Guide of the Dead. So Cain was also marked for his crime, and it is this mark, the witch's mark, that all children of Cain carry, though in a diluted form. So, I'm very interested about, the bloodline of Cain now. I don't know really how to kind of figure that out, but I think it's interesting. Alright, but I guess maybe there's more information about it somewhere else, so... Alright, now we have the Azazel and the Tubal Cain. So Azazel was chief among the angels in the story of the fall of the B'nai Elohim in the book of Enoch. So the B'nai Elohim is a term that refers to angels. So it occurs 4 times in the Old Testament and is rendered angels of God. So in the ancient... Wow, what is this word? Septuagint translation. These fallen angels, or watchers, descended to the realm of matter, which is Earth, Malkuth, where they took the descendants of Cain as human vessels. So they took women as their wives, taught them witchcraft and other skills. Azazel took Tubal Cain, the blacksmith, as his vessel, and further improved the arts of smithcraft and witchery. So Nama was the human vessel of Nahima, Lilith the younger, or Lilith's daughter. So there is just so much that I really want to know of the line of Cain, the bloodline. Do you guys know anything about it? If you do, everything is welcome. So, now we have the Nephilim. So the children of the Watchers were the giants, so known as the Nephilim, which derives from the Hebrew Nephal, to fall, or the fallen ones. The Greek Septuagint renders his term giants, which actually means earthborn. So this is often misunderstood to mean giants. So they were marked by extra teeth extra fingers and toes, double-crowned skulls, giantism, and other traits that future generations would interpret as witch marks. So this is very interesting, very, very interesting. So the Watchers were originally the 4 stars, Aldebaran, the east, Regulus, the south, Antares, the west, and Fomalhaut, the north. Witches then are those who can trace their bloodline to Caine. So the red thread are the children of the stars. So the red thread. Let's see. So how do we figure out the bloodline of Caine? Let's see what the red thread has to do with any of this. Okay, so now we have destiny and doom in our craft. So one of our earliest articles, witch marks, which we already went through, witch blood and the Cthulhu, has been perennial. So yes, perennial. A favorite of blog visitors since Glocks first wrote it in 2011. In it, she talks about the history and folklore of traditional, of magical inheritance or birthright. So the idea that some witches are basically descended from other witches and will pass aspects of their power onto their descendants, much as they receive power from their ancestors. So it's kind of like genetics. I mean, we inherit certain things from our parents. We could have inherited certain, traits, skills, abilities, but I still think you have to work for them. You do. You have to work them. You have to work those muscles in the brain. So, but there are 2 really salient points that I think are often overlooked in the Glocks' article. Judging from some of the, the comments and the questions we received, both points are stated very clearly, though, and I think they bear repeating. So, 1, I like this. 1, the concept that witches inherit their power through bloodlines and have a physical birthmark of this lineage is a folkloric concept that does not bear out in every case. You can absolutely be a witch without having any known witches in your family tree. You can also be a redhead with 3 nipples and a goat hoof birthmark on your inner thigh and not be a witch at all. Okay, so different. Very different. So 2, witches today most often form a blood bond to make their mark at their initiations. So we take blood oaths to our covens and to the witch father himself. We tattoo ourselves so that the bond is visible to those who know its meaning. So, alright, I'm getting this now. I'm understanding the whole tattoo thing. Now, witchcraft is a craft, says so right on the label. So it's work, an action, whatever may be in your blood is meaningless if you allow it to lie dormant. Yes, you may have direct descendant of, Isabel Gowdy or Alice, Cateller or Sarah Good. You may be even able to prove it through birth, death, and marriage certificates. Not likely, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I like that. Highly unlikely. So, you could also be a direct descendant of... I don't know that word. Charlemagne? But that does not make you an emperor. That is what I was saying, just because I have Vlad, in my family tree, it does not make me a vampire. If you have witches in your family tree, it doesn't make you a witch. If you have the marks, you have, if you're in nothing. It does not matter. So, if you are a descendant from witches, be proud and do something worthy of them. Do not wait for witchy things to happen to you. Find your power and learn to use it. So it says here, I promise that it will not come exploding out of you the way it does for young witches and wizards on television or in the movies. When you reach a certain birthday or when a particular family member dies and inherit their power, your power is yours alone, as your action. So as your action, they can be influenced by family members and friends, but it is you who must walk the crooked path if you ever want to know what secrets lie at the heart of the forest or upon the empty fields at night. So that is basically saying no. Good for you. If you have witch blood, good. That's cool. But it doesn't mean a thing. It means nothing. I like that. So that's the end of that. So if you have no idea if you are carrying the blood of Caine, don't fret. He will give it to you himself, and he will mark you in a way that makes sense to both you and him. So this, after all, is what those medieval witch hunters had assumed anyway. The lore in those trial records claim that the mark isn't a birth mark per se, but a mark placed upon the body of the witch after she made a contract with the devil, usually by drinking a concoction made of blood and wine and herbs. Oh God, no. So we see some of these people do this, but I don't. So along these lines, I had someone recently write to me with questions about their possible great destiny within witchcraft, and I'm not trying to embarrass this person, but I want to use part of this correspondence as an instructive moment for others, if possible. So, this is interesting. I see so many people hoping that there is something inherently magical and special within them that marks them for greatness. To them I say this right here, quote, "There may be some gifts inside you, but you will have to do the hard work of digging it out, clearing away the dirt, polishing that gem, and finding a way to share it with the world," unquote. So basically you have to work those muscles, or it's just not going to happen. You're not going to be, born whatever you think you are within witchcraft. So nope. So this particular person wrote with the following inquiry: "Some people think I have a huge Wicca destiny due to my birthday, and while you don't follow Wicca, a folklore insight would be helpful. I do not practice, but am researching whether my birthday is a big deal, and if yes, probably will. Do you find anything net-worthy of my Samhain birthday of 1969? So, alright, now, the following was replied. I like this. So, traditionally, historically, there was no set date for Samhain. There have been 3 different ways for figuring out the date, so to my knowledge. Samhain is the final harvest, and it happened before the cold winter claimed the crops that had been left in the field too long. Many rural pagans simply used weather signs or local signs as their markers for Samhain. The Druids, who were priestly class of the Celts, marked Samhain astrologically when the sun reaches 15 degrees Scorpio, which usually puts Samhain between November 4th and the 7th. It is very interesting. The 4th and the 7th, as this would have been the midway point between the autumnal equinox and the winter solstice, and now come something contemporary. We use such a date based on the Julian calendar, which was the calendar of the church. So, given that Samhain has many more years of history as a floating holiday, it's hard to see a birthday of 10/31/69 as particularly indicative of being marked for destiny within the craft. It's like being born on Easter, a floating holiday in the Christian tradition. It's cool, and it can have a lot of personal meaning to someone whose faith and spiritual experience are rooted in, the folklore of that religion. So, as your birthday being a big deal, it truly is not within the craft. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. So, other than that, as a cool curiosity, however, your birthday is absolutely a big deal in the astrological influences in your life. So, as your birth time and place, if you haven't already done so, recommend checking out a free birth chart generator like one at it's www.alabde.com/freechart. So every member of this coven is expected to be familiar with their stars. So we all have a destiny, and we all have energetic patterns. Astrology is a great way to unlock some of the secrets in your life. So, yeah, I like this. So truthfully, nobody is marked for greatness within any branch of the craft unless they choose to walk this path. Wicca, Strega, root work, or traditional. This can be a grueling ordeal-based path. On a mundane level, we can and do sometimes lose our jobs because we are witches, lose our children because we are witches, lose our families because we're witches. Glocks and this person both lost jobs, great jobs, in the name of the craft. So she says here, I have friends who have fought court battles over the right to parent their children within the religion. One won that battle, another is still fighting with tooth and claw just to have the basic rights to see her kid on a reasonable basis. That's sad. That's very sad. So, alright, so this isn't a path where you can go shopping to see which one of the, has the highest potential for bringing you power and glory. So if those, what you crave, you will likely not find either here within the craft. In any branch of it, the power comes from within you. Glory isn't something worth seeking, not for witches. So not as a witch, it's bad for our health. There are plenty of famous witches these days, but most of them are famous in their trade, not their craft. So, very interesting stuff, especially about the whole, just the entire thing of crap. The whole thing, the whole Caine thing, I mean, the whole witch blood, having witch blood and everything, and it just does not matter. Which I think is great. Because so many people think it does. And it just absolutely does not matter. So I don't care who you are. You can do whatever. So, but yeah. Alright guys, that's just a little bit. So I hope you all have a great Sunday with Satan. And I love you all. Everybody be safe. And yeah, you guys are great in the live chats. It's hilarious. So, I will see you guys tomorrow. All my love. All the way from Venus. All the way back down. There we go. So, alright guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully.